You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley, with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders protect what matters most so your resources stay focused on ministry and not emergencies. Today, we're diving into a tough but essential topic: how to keep your church's money going toward missions instead of paying lawyers. If you've ever thought, we have insurance, we're fine, this episode is one you don't want to miss. Pastor David's church in San Antonio was thriving and the ministry was growing. That was until one day when he was blindsided by a lawsuit. A church member accused him of negligence in counseling. His heart sank, but the real shock came when he called attorneys in town to represent him. They all demanded a massive retainer just to get started. His second shock came when he called his church's insurance agent. His church's liability policy didn't cover the lawyer. It only covered damages. The church had to cover the cost of the lawyer on its own. Pastor David quickly learned the hard lesson. There's a big difference between having insurance on paper and having protection in reality. What happened to Pastor David happens to churches across Texas every year. They don't realize that not all church liability insurance policies are created equal. A lot of policies only pay after a case is decided for damages or settlements. But the truth is, most churches never make it that far. They burn through ministry funds on defense costs long before a judge or jury ever hears the case. Let's talk about what a good church liability policy should do and how it can keep your mission funds from going towards lawyer fees. Here are 3 ways that liability insurance protects you from lawyer bills. The first is that the insurance company provides the lawyer for you. When a claim or lawsuit arrives, you shouldn't have to scramble to find an attorney. A strong liability policy includes defense coverage. The insurance company provides and pays for the lawyer on your behalf. The second way that liability policies protect your church is that the lawyer already understands how churches operate. Most attorneys deal with business disputes and not ministry. Church liability cases are different. And without specialized knowledge, a lawyer could spend thousands of your dollars just trying to understand how your church functions before they even begin to defend you. A church liability defense attorney is provided through your policy and already knows that playbook. The third way comprehensive liability protects you is simple. You don't pay out of pocket to get started. Remember Pastor David's church? They had to dip into ministry funds just to cover immediate retainers and legal bills. When you have the right coverage, those defense costs are paid by the insurance company. This means your budget stays exactly where it belongs, on ministry, not litigation. Church leaders often think that general liability covers all of your church's liability risks, but it does not. There are several additional liability policies that churches should have. Every church should consider pastoral liability, directors and officers, employment practices liability, abuse and molestation, workers' comp, and cyber liability. Each one addresses a unique risk, and each one could save your church thousands in legal defense costs. Pastor David's church learned an expensive lesson. A policy that looks good on paper isn't enough if it doesn't defend you when accusations come. In today's world, even when your church operates with the highest integrity, lawsuits still happen. People misunderstand. Emotions run high. Claims arise. You can't always prevent accusations, but you can prepare for them. The goal is to make sure your church can continue its mission without being bankrupted by legal fees. Your church exists to reach people, not to fund lawsuits. So if you're not sure whether your insurance includes defense coverage, now is the time to find out. At Insurance for Texans, we offer our True Texas Church Insurance program that protects your ministry with the right liability coverage so that your money stays where it belongs. Serving people, not paying lawyers. Visit insurancefortexans.com to schedule a free coverage review. Let's make sure your church is protected the right way, so when challenges come, your mission doesn't stop. And if you want a deeper dive into church insurance, get a copy of my book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith Stewardship and Insurance. Until next time, remember, good stewardship doesn't pay lawyers unnecessarily. It keeps ministries moving forward despite liability claims.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.